This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your mental health, your relationships, your work, your money, anything and everything. We're here for you. I'm John Deloney, joined by my good friend and best-selling author, Ken Coleman, and we are taking your calls on life. 888-825-5225. If you're struggling with relationships at home, Ken, we know businesses are slowly starting to open back up, and people are trying to figure out after a year, 2 years of working at home, what it's going to be like to travel again or drive, or those who have been back in workplaces are looking to shift and change. If you're dealing with leadership challenges where you work, if you're dealing with personal relationships, money challenges, whatever's going on, give us a shout. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Jasmine in Seattle. Hey, Jasmine, what's going on?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call today.
You bet. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Over the weekend, was the end of my relationship. I am a mom to a 1 and 4-year-old, and we left and came to my mom's in Seattle. We were in Alaska. And now I am looking at fighting for custody and trying to figure out how to start life on my own as a single mom at 26. And it's just kind of scary.
Yeah, that's so scary. Why'd you leave Alaska? What happened?
Well, the kid's dad is an alcoholic and has struggled with substance abuse, with other drugs, and he's not physically abusive, but mentally, emotionally, financially, and it's been like 2 years up there of just the same pattern of things going okay for a couple weeks, and then he starts going out all night and not answering the phone and just like disappears on a bender. And
so what happened that made you say, this is enough, I'm out of here. I'm getting my 2 little ones and we're gone?
Well, we got into an argument and he told me to leave. I brought the kids with me because he was intoxicated at the time. And then he came and got them from me, intoxicated, and I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't feel safe trying to go and get them physically myself, and I called the police.
Good for you. Good for you, Jasmine. Good for you. And I know that's hard, but you did the right thing. So how can we help? What can I help you with?
I think the biggest thing is I'm just worried about the kids because they're still really young, so I don't think they fully understand what's happening and why we're not with Dad and why we're not in Alaska. And I'm mostly just trying to explain to my 4-year-old, she saw Daddy get arrested,
So I think the most important thing now is to solve for things in order, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is solve for safety. And you're with your parents now, you said?
Yeah, I'm with my mom.
And that's a safe place for you?
Yes.
And by safe, I mean not abusive, but there's food, there's shelter. You got the lights are on. That's a good place.
Yes.
Great. Or it's going to be tempting to try to explain things to your kids. What your kids need right now is you and your presence and your mom's presence. They need adults in their life to be calm and stable, and not that they're not going to be grieving or be upset or weeping or anything like that, but they are going to be able to look them in the eye, to go for a walk, right? Touch, presence, connection is going to speak volumes to them right now. And when they ask questions, we're not going to talk bad about Dad. Dad's struggling with stuff, but we are going to tell the truth, and we're going to tell him Daddy's struggling, and we're going to be staying here for a little while. And then I want you to start to think over time, what's it going to mean legally? What are the legal ramifications? And are you going to get a professional to walk through that with you? Do you have a community of other women in your life that it's not your mom that you can sit down and just say, this sucks with?
Well, I was starting to kind of build that in Fairbanks.
Good.
But
well, yeah, not good, actually. Sorry, not good.
But I have cousins and other extended family here in Washington as well.
Good. So one more thing. I want you to go to betterhelp.com, and I know you've just moved to a new town, and you can go to betterhelp.com/Deloney, and they'll give you a discount. I want you to find a professional counselor to start talking to today. Will you promise that you'll do that?
Yes.
Thank you. And talking with a professional they're going to walk alongside you, and they're going to be with you not just on a 10-minute phone call on the radio, but they're going to be with you tomorrow and the week after that and the week after that. And if you have access to counseling resources there in your community, great. I would reach out to somebody because you're going to want someone to walk with you over the next few weeks, few months.
John and Jasmine, I want to give you something, and John, I want you to prescribe this. I don't know what the timing is from a counseling standpoint, but while you're getting healthy and while she's getting healthy, there's a season on that. However, Jasmine, as soon as John thinks it's smart, I want you to, in the near future, begin to focus on your future. Okay?
That's today, Jasmine, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Once
you're safe, we got to start looking for how are we going to eat and things like that.
So there's two things I want you to do. I'm glad you're safe with mom, but I want you to focus on provision and contribution. Those are your two words, okay? Provision means I want you to figure out what work looks like for you. It doesn't have to be dream job yet. We're not worried about that. I just want you to get into the act of getting into work and knowing that you as a single mom are enough and that you can provide for those little ones, because you've gone through some tremendous stuff and it begins to make you doubt so much. And I want you to show yourself that you can and you will provide for those beautiful children. So that's provision, okay? The second thing is as you get on your feet and you begin to work and you begin to see that you can provide and that you are strong enough, I want you to begin to think and I want you to begin to wonder, what is it that I want to do? Do I want to eventually get married and be a stay-at-home mom? That's great. So you're working for a season. Or is there something professional that you want to do, a contribution that you want to make? And make that contribution. Find work where you see value in your work. There's value in all work, but I want you to maybe look for work in Seattle where you are making a difference in the lives of people that you connect to. I think that's important to the healing process. So those are your words, provision and contribution. And I think it's going to help speed up your healing, Jasmine, because no matter what he said or did to you, you have a tremendous amount of value to the world, not just to those kiddos. You got me?
Yeah, thank you.
And Jasmine, one more thing. One of the great evils of abusive relationships is that you look in the mirror and you begin to believe that nonsense.
Yeah.
And I want you to hear me and Ken say, you're worthy of being loved. You did the right thing taking care of those kids. And you have value regardless of what some knucklehead has told you. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
888-825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show. We're taking your calls on your money, your life, your relationships, your work, whatever's going on in your life. Give us a shout. 888-825-5225. Ken, you got some articles here, brother.
Yeah, so I thought this is the reality where we need to be talking about this. So let's just set the table. Since August of 2021 to November, December of 2021, we saw 18.5 plus million people change jobs. Okay? So
can you contextualize that for me in history? Because that feels like
it's just
one of those great migrations that happens.
It is. So for people who aren't paying attention to this in the news, a lot of economists have called this the Great Resignation. But to answer your question, it's historic in that each month we had 4.2, 4.3, 4.5. Each month, August through December, was 4 million plus. That had never happened before. Any one of those months would have been a record.
Getting
People leaving in 1 month. So never before in the history of the American economy had 4 million people left a job in 1 month. So then do that times 4 or 5. So it just kept going. We'll see the job numbers coming out soon.
Yeah.
And so we'll see, is it continuing? A lot of people think it's going to continue. So,
but that it's not affecting the overall unemployment rate. So they're leaving jobs to go to other jobs.
No, I'll tell you what it is. It's a bit of musical chairs.
Okay.
Because as all these people are leaving, so everybody's leveling up. So let's say somebody leaves. So Sarah leaves company XYZ to go to company ABC. So that leaves a hole at company XYZ. Sarah left company XYZ to go to ABC for a bump. So that puts company XYZ in a hole. What am I going to have to pay somebody now? I was paying Sarah this much money. To replace her, I'm going to have to pay her more. So a part of this inflation stuff we hear, now let's talk about money here on the Ramsey Show. It's a money show. A part of the inflation is the cost of jobs. So coming out of the pandemic, we saw hourly rates go up. So Walmart, Target, Amazon, they jump in and they go, all right, forget the federal government. We're going to raise our minimum wage to $15, $17 an hour. So then it becomes an arms race. So companies are competing for talent, and people are leveling up and making more money.
So is there come a break-even point when the business is better off looking at the people who are thinking about leaving and taking care of them before they jump ship?
100%.
So I'm hearing a lot of conversations about what does a workplace environment look like that becomes more hospitable and becomes more retention-focused and holistic than
Right.
I'm giving you this wage, I own you for the next 8 hours.
That's right.
Then we'll get up and do it again tomorrow.
And so what's happened, because that has been the general leadership view. You need a job, and so I don't have to treat you probably as well as I need to. Well, then the pandemic comes along, new jobs are created, opportunities, and people are going, wait a second, you're treating me like a commodity, then I'm going to go get mine.
And see, I wonder if there's even a psychological component to, this can all end any moment. I'm going to live my life on my terms more than let some boss that I don't know in some suite across the country run my life for
That's
me.
exactly right. So we bring this article to you today because, John, here's the reality. In an audience this large, there are people out there who are going, you know what? My work is literally making me sick, right? So here are from CompTIA.org. Okay, these are signs that your job is making you sick. I'm going to run through these quickly, John, and then you and I are going to break this down. What is leadership doing that are creating these physical symptoms? And then what does a person do to try to treat themselves in the process of deciding, do I leave this environment? So here we go. One is insomnia. You can't sleep. A lot of this is due to work stress. Can't get your mind off of work, and you lay down at night physically and mentally and emotionally exhausted and still can't go to sleep. Another one is you sleep too much. All right? So you're sleeping too much to cope with all of the elevated adrenaline and cortisol levels. 3, you're losing weight. You can't even think about eating because you're so focused on the fight or flight mode from the work. 4, you're gaining weight. As the adrenaline and cortisol levels increase due to challenging work environment, it's not uncommon to put on weight. So I know that I'm an emotional eater. So if I had somebody, John, come at me and get all over me and a boss treat me like, just like I'm a piece of junk, I'm hitting the chips and salsa.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
So I just want people to go, hey, there's no shame in your game. Number 4, that would be me.
And when my boss calls me in and says, I just need you to know you are doing incredible work, I go celebrate with chips and salsa.
That too. I am an emotional leader. I'll have John diagnose me during the break.
No, I'm the worst.
Right. Number 5, you feel tired and unmotivated. Obviously, fatigue here. High stress too long, it's going to zap you. Number 6, you get colds more often. John, you were the first one to kind of tell me about this. I didn't realize how much stress affects our immune system.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Number 7, it takes you longer to recover from minor illnesses because of, again, all the factors we've been walking through. Number 8, you exercise less often. You have no motivation. 9, you're withdrawing socially because that unhappiness at work bleeds into your personal life. And then 10, your doctor starts to express concern, blood pressure, cholesterol levels, all physical effects as a result of a toxic environment or a horrible boss.
And I want to point out a couple things real quick. One, we often look at what our neighbor in our workplace is going through and think, I'm not going through that. This is important to point out because stress affects different people differently because of their life experiences, because of their genetics, because of trauma or not trauma. This stuff ping-pongs around, so it's really important to know your body. And I also think it's important to note this isn't all causal, right? This isn't this causes that, that causes that. Usually what happens is you find yourself so stressed out, like we got here on the back, you stop taking care of your diet, you quit working out, you quit hanging out with other people, you spend more time scrolling, less time sleeping, and all of a sudden these things start stacking up on you.
I agree, and I think what you just said is absolutely important for people to hear. We compound the problem. So I just wanted to briefly touch on a couple leadership things, but I want you to tell the audience, okay, what do you do? Like, how do you self-care in a situation where you can't leave right away?
Right.
Because let's stress this. We never tell anybody on the Ken Coleman Show or the Ramsey Show, hey, if you're in a tough environment, just walk out today.
Yeah.
No. If you financially can, then we say yes. Right. But unless you've got the financial wherewithal and freedom to do so, you're going to have to come up with a plan. And John, I want you to talk about what they can do for self-care, but let me just identify, because I want people to understand that this isn't okay. And so when you've got a leader who is basically taking their burden and dumping it on you, and they're going, you got to do more because I can't do anything about it. And they're not shouldering the load with you. They're not going, this is for a season. This is only going to be here. Or they're not rewarding you as a part of this. You are feeling like you are nothing more than just a person who does whatever they want, whenever they need it. There's no value. And that starts to wear on people.
That's right.
That's what's driving this, is people feeling like a commodity, not a person.
Well, and they get, as our friend Jocko says, they get no ownership, yet all the responsibility, right? You don't get to decide what's going. Nobody asks your opinion. They tell you what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and when you're going to do it. And then that's a recipe for, dude, I'm going to go have some sort of autonomy and be able to speak into my own life.
So what can the audience do if they're in this situation to at least stem the tide of these negative physical things? I
think the most important thing they can do is to acknowledge this is happening.
Yeah.
Most of us don't have. It took me years to figure out and begin to connect the dots in my life that this work environment, that I have to be honest and look in the mirror, not always, but often I was allowing, or I was taking on too much because I wanted to get an extra certificate or an extra gold star. I was carrying things about my business and my industry that nobody asked me to carry, right? That's not everybody, right? That's me. You have to call it out and say, this is killing me. This is melting my marriage, or I'm not being the parent I could be because of this. You got to start there with owning, being honest. And then it sounds so trite, but all you can do in these situations is control two things on planet Earth. Your thoughts and your actions.
Yes.
That's it, my man. That's it.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Can we say that?
For help.
Yes.
Ask for people to help you with your thoughts. Ask for people to help you with a workout plan. Ask for people to help you with sleep. Go see a doctor. And then start asking people to walk alongside you as they help you find a new place to work.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
South Carolina. On the phone, we have Jeff, and it says here on my screen that you are debt-free. Jeff, are you there?
I'm in here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Hey, a cool thing you do when you're talking to somebody on the phone is to pick it up. So my bad. Let's start that again. Jeff from Sumter, South Carolina. My screen says you're debt-free. Is that right?
That is correct.
Congratulations, my brother. How much have you paid off?
I paid off the last $30,000, and that was to my mortgage.
Wow.
Wow, you did it. So what was your total amount of your entire journey?
For the mortgage?
No, for your entire debt-free adventure here.
That was it. $30,000.
Oh.
That was the only thing I had was my mortgage. I am totally debt-free.
Wow.
Phenomenal, man. So how long have you been on this journey?
This is over the last 12 months.
And what was your income in this time?
A little over $50,000.
A little over $50,000, and you cranked out $30,000 of that?
Yes, it was tight, but it was right.
That's well done there.
So what do you do for a living, brother?
I'm actually retired military, retired Air Force.
Oh,
Retired
wow.
Air Force.
Thank you for your service, Jeff.
Yes, sir. So what happened a year ago that you said, I'm sick of having a mortgage, I'm done with this, and I'm going to send more than half of my annual salary to get this thing paid off?
Well, it actually was going to be a year earlier, but this virus thing kicked up, and I was like, I better push on the brakes a little bit, slow down on my intense payoff on this mortgage. But then I let up off the brake this last year, and I just went for it, and I just paid it all off. I was like, I am done paying the bank. Any more money than I have to, I am getting out of this. So I paid it off.
Real quick aside, Jeff, what virus are you talking about? Just kidding. Just kidding. All right,
there's a rumor going around. There's a virus out there.
So you decide a year ago, I'm done with this thing. I'm going to get this through. How'd you get connected to the Ramsey Squad?
I've been listening for quite a while. I can't get it locally, so I've been listening on the iHeartRadio. So I listen mostly to the podcast, but I've been listening pretty carefully. And every debt-free screen gets me that much more pumped up to do my own screen.
That's fantastic. So walk us through your journey. What was the key to getting out of debt?
I think just getting out of debt, just having that vision of like, what could I be doing with this money that I'm paying to my mortgage in another more positive way, other than giving it back to the bank plus all their interest. And I just like I'm done with it, and especially when you're on a fixed income, because this is basically my income is my pension. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't a lot of outside monies coming in. So I was like, I'm on a fixed income. I want to use as much of that as I can, and getting rid of this mortgage, this debt, is going to give me much more possibilities.
Now, Jeff, you said it was tight, but it was right. And that, by the way, that's the bumper sticker of the day. That's fantastic. My question is, how tight was it? What were some of the big sacrifices you had to make?
I kind of, it is over time, because this, obviously my mortgage is paid off in 11 years, so it's actually pretty early. But so I gradually kept paying more and more. So I just kind of eased back on any kind of extra spending. But I didn't, my spending was pretty, my budget was pretty tight anyway, as far as not too much extremes or anything. So it wasn't a big sacrifice, but, just not going out for meals, cooking everything at home, just doing the traditional rice and beans and rice kind of diet, as well as everything else is kind of fixated on getting this mortgage paid off. So anything else was basically, this can wait. I don't have to nothing but just pay my bills and pay the mortgage and get out of this.
Yeah, when I look at just the math, $30,000 over 12 months against a $50,000 salary, you were living quite Spartan, my man. Like you were for real beans and rice.
Like, what was that? Is there something you're never going to eat again as a result of this journey?
No, not really. I mean, I guess I'm pretty set in my ways as far as I'm pretty, everything's kind of, everything's the same. So no, I remember a long time ago when I was promotion testing, I lived on bologna sandwiches every day for lunch while I was preparing for my test. So I will never eat bologna again. That's for one thing.
All right.
That does rhyme with my last name, so thanks for bringing that up.
But it was good. It was, and I think you got to go through the struggle. It makes it feel much better when you're finally over that hump and get that last send in that last check.
That's right.
It just makes it that much sweeter.
So Jeff, who was your biggest cheerleaders when you were going through this?
I kind of kept it on the down low because, it's one of those things like, am I really going to make this? Is this really going to happen? So I didn't put a lot of like, hey, this is what I'm doing kind of thing. But I did tell people, hey, so I'm doing this. And they just kind of said, yeah, that's nice. Because, everybody has debt and everybody thinks you're going to get out of it. But you got to want to get out of that debt. You want to get to the other side. And that's what I wanted it. And I got it.
I see that picture of you up on our screen with that beautiful yellow lab. What's the dog's name?
That is Casper.
Casper was with you the whole time. That's kind of cool.
Oh, yes.
So did your friends and colleagues think you were nuts during this journey?
Did they what?
Think you were had gone bonkers?
Not really. I didn't really, throw it over their heads all the time and stuff. I just kept saying, hey, I'm paying down my mortgage. This is all I got to go on. This is all the debt I have. And they're like kind of amazed by that because, everybody has car loans and everything else and stuff. But I only had one thing. And so they were probably maybe envious, under their breath, but I didn't really tell a lot of people about it because I wasn't sure it was going to happen until it happened.
So if somebody is sitting there just with their headphones in, they're doing their job, they're driving somewhere, tell them what it feels like to not owe anybody anything.
It feels like the weight of the world is off your shoulders because no matter what happens, your house is paid for. Everything's paid for. It just makes life, as Dave says, walking through the grass, it feels fresher, although it's wintertime, so I'm not walking barefoot through the grass right now. But it feels fresher. The grass feels better. Everything just feels different. The house even seems larger now that it's paid off.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious, have you allowed yourself to wonder, dream a little bit? Now that you're on the other side of this debt, I'm curious, what are you thinking about now that life has changed and you can actually do something more with that money?
Yes. The first thing I'm going to do is basically my plan for the next 6 months is putting that same amount of money that I was paying down the house with, which is a large amount, into savings. And then this summer, I'm going to do the live and give like no one else motto, and hoping to get involved with some of the boys and girls clubs around here and see if there's anything I can do as far as helping kids go to
Jeff,
camp that can't afford it.
You're an amazing human being, my brother.
That is cool.
Well, Jeff, we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you, and we're going to give you a copy of Dave's new book, Baby Steps, Millionaires, because that's your next step, and unless you give it all away because you're a giving guy. We're also going to give you a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to hand to somebody else as they begin their journey. Someone's going to come up to you in the next month and say, man, I'm struggling. You're going to say, I've got it. Hang on. And you're going to be able to give them this book. We are so proud of you, my brother. You're a great human being. Thank you for your service. And thank you for your, you're going to celebrate this by giving it away, which is just extraordinary. All right. We've got Jeff from Sumter, South Carolina, paid off $30,000. His mortgage, he's a weird man. In 1 year, count them down, Jeff. Let's hear your debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm totally debt-free.
Yeah! I'm trying to do the math in my head, Ken. I think he had rice and beans once a week.
Oh, yeah, and we tried to crack him. He wasn't going to tell us.
None.
All we know is that he's never eating bologna again. But I think he likes the rice and beans is what I took away from it.
And if you ever doubt the heart and mind of our servicemen and women, that man's
tremendous discipline
to shut it down and be disciplined and accomplish a goal in a short period of time. Incredible. If you're driving along and you think, I'm going to have this stupid mortgage forever, you don't have to. You don't have to. Get after it, and get it done. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show. Let's go out to Toronto, Canada, and talk to Shanice. Shanice, what's going on?
Hi, guys. It's great to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you. What's going on?
Okay. I'm really nervous, so forgive me if I don't make a lot of sense. I'm going to try my best. Just a little background about me. I am 29. I'm married. I have a child. And I have been struggling with starting or wanting to start a business. So I've wanted to start a business forever. But I always feel like there's always something that I always have to put in front of that and focus on. And the biggest thing that I'm struggling right now is just like the fear, and then also like struggling to just kind of stay in my comfort zone and not put myself out there. And yeah, I was just curious if you guys had any advice to kind of like, get going. Cause one day I really I'm dreaming about having that call that tells you guys like we've paid off our mortgage kind of thing. So
sure. So here's what I want to focus on first. I want to focus on specifically what you're afraid of. What are you afraid of? I want you to be very specific.
I think the biggest thing that comes to mind is definitely just putting myself out there. I would call myself more of an introvert, so I definitely feel more comfortable just being in my own head and my own thoughts. But
what's the business?
I think so I do fashion illustration and just like illustrations in general, but I've struggled to even put like my work out there because I'm really afraid of like people's opinion about it.
Sure. So I'll get to that in a second. And John, as a psychologist, I'm sure can go even deeper. But I'm just curious, who would pay you for that kind of work? Where's that coming from?
So when I've researched it, you could have, women who just like having like nice illustrations as artwork maybe in their home or something like that. But I also know that there will be like large corporations like in the fashion industry or not necessarily in the fashion industry that will use that for like campaign work.
Okay.
And things along that nature.
All right. And so the dream business for you, and I don't want you to get too hung up on this, but what's the dream look like? Who are you doing it for? Is it full time? What kind of money you making? Give me that dream.
It's kind of embarrassing to say. I guess like
no, it's not.
The dream business would be doing that full time in some capacity, or being able to have like a product based business that like I could sell, like things to women, goods to women that make them feel good about themselves or feel happy.
Gotcha. Now these goods to women, that's another creative venture. That's not just illustrations. That's you creating something with your hands. True or false?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay, here's what I want to ask you. When was the last time you showed anybody, I don't even care if it's your husband, when was the last time you showed anybody some of your illustrations or your crafts?
It was definitely my husband, and it was probably like 2 weeks ago.
And you've showed nobody else? No other friend?
No.
No acquaintance? Okay.
No.
So I'm gonna pass it to my pal who's a psychologist and dig into the why. But here's a challenge I've got for you. Okay?
Okay.
At some point, you have to determine whether or not this is going to be a dream or a nightmare. And it's going to become a nightmare for you if you never do it. So at some point, you're going to have to put yourself out there, which means face rejection. And here's what I want you to do. I have 2 homework assignments for you, and I'll give it to John. One homework assignment is I want you to actually release, show a craft or an illustration on social media that you're already on. I want you to just put it out there. Just put it out there and just let people do what they're going to do with it. And it has nothing to do with how great it looks or what they're going to say. I just want you to put it out there and just see what happens. Okay? That's homework assignment number 1. Homework assignment number 2. I want you to research or reconnect with the story, the biography, or just the story that you're aware of a designer that you admire. And I want you to just dig in, become an expert in their story, and find out how much they dealt with rejection and failure. That's what I want you to do.
So, Shanice, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd on the radio. Who has told you that your work is garbage?
No one specifically has ever told me my work is garbage.
Who has ever told you that you're garbage?
No one specifically has ever said those words to me, but just definitely situations I've been in where I've failed have made me feel like that.
So you're carrying around a story that your failure at a thing, whether it's dodgeball or volleyball or mowing a yard or painting, equates to you are a failure.
Yeah, I guess so.
And what I want you to do is set that story down, because that story's inaccurate. It's weighing on you like a brick, and you're carrying it around with you everywhere. And it weighs on your marriage, it weighs on your son, and most importantly, it weighs on you. And it's robbing people in our community, in our world. It's robbing them of your art, of your connectivity, of your gifts. You hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The way to go through challenging these stories that you carry around with you is I want you to get a small little journal, a small little book. You can spend 99 cents at Walmart, or you can go overpay on Etsy for some fancy leather journal or whatever. But I want you to begin to write down these stories. I failed at this, and no one's ever going to love my work. I failed at this one time. I screwed this up. And I want you to write these stories down, however nonsensical they are. I want you to get them out of your head and onto paper. Get them out of your body so you can look at them. And then I want you to demand evidence from them. Is this true? Is the fact that this thing that this person told me when I was 13, am I really a bad mom? The answer to that will be no. Am I really not worthy of putting my art out there? The answer to that will be no. Right? But you can only do that for yourself. And if it gets hard and heavy, or if you've got past trauma to deal with, then go get a counselor and walk alongside you. But when you start challenging those stories, you then get to hold the pen and stop trying to edit crap that's happened in your past, but you get to write something new. What comes next? And then what Ken said is perfect. It's aversion therapy, right? It's you're going to do something that scares you to death, and you're going to post a picture, and then you're going to find out that it doesn't kill you. Yep. Even if everybody hates it, you're going to find out, oh gosh, my husband still loves me, my kid still loves me, my heart's still beating, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Right? And they're not going to all hate it, by the way. They're going to love it.
Or Shanice, here's a question. Shanice, let's just ask you a general success question. This is your opinion, okay? There's no right or wrong answer because this is your opinion. Do you think it is possible to move forward in any venture of life without failure?
No.
All right,
I don't think so.
So then why in the world are you holding yourself to a standard that you don't even think exists? You just said it's impossible to move forward in any area of life, whether you're learning a sport, an instrument, you're in class, learning a topic, a subject, you're in business school, whatever. You said, you agreed that it is impossible to move forward without failure, and yet you're holding yourself to that.
I guess it feels safer.
Yeah, it does. You know why? Because we all hate the sting of rejection. goes back to elementary school, John. When we wrote these notes, do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe. And we sat there in anticipation, waiting to see, do they like us? You remember that, Shanice?
Yeah, I do.
All right, then. Rejection is part of the deal. It's the price of admission. And your designs and your crafts will speak to certain women. And you just got to put it out there.
Do you believe us?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Thank
And
you
hey,
guys so much.
I screwed up. It's not aversion therapy. It's exposure therapy. I want you to Google it, and I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to challenge yourself, okay? Google exposure therapy, and make sure you put therapy at the other end of that Google search, right?
Or just do what I told you to do, and who cares what it's called.
There you go. I want to make sure I'm telling people the right things here. All right, we'll be right back. That's another hour in the books. Thanks to Ken Coleman and the gang in the booth, James and Kelly. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your work, your relationships and mental health, and your money. I am John Deloney, joined here by best-selling author and good friend Ken Coleman, and we are taking your calls on just about anything. 888-825-5225. Kelly's here to take your calls, and we will get you on the air. Let's go to Jerry in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Jerry, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, guys. Good to talk with you both.
You too. What's up?
So I recently started a new job in the, job realm that I would love to be in. It's an incredible job so far, but I feel slightly underqualified just because I never did any formal schooling for it. And so I'm wondering if I'm already in the space that I want to be in, would it still be an efficient use of time to go back and actually get a 4-year college degree, or go into getting certifications and things? I'm in the IT world. If I should just specialize right away.
Specialize. You don't need a degree. You're already in the field. And many times people feel that the degree is the ticket in. And in the technology world, this is increasingly not the case. And so you're already in. Now, the specialized is the key word. The specialized certifications and qualifications, that's what you need. And the fact that you're already in makes you even more valuable immediately, because many times they'll pay for it. If they go, okay, Jerry's going to stay with us if we pay for his qualifications, I'd start looking at all those opportunities. But it's simple. If college and a degree doesn't get you where you want to go, it's not the only way, then why in the world would you do it? And I think you've already seen that that's the case.
Yeah, that makes sense. I still felt like, there are probably just some external pressures saying, you know what, you are worth less because you don't have a college degree.
Wait a second.
And I think
whoa.
Who says that?
Who said that? and so who are the external pressures?
Well, I would say it's not necessarily from as a person you're worth less. I just think that there have been several studies on potential earnings over a lifetime for people that have college degrees versus don't. But, some of those studies may be outdated.
Well, no. Though I look at that stuff every day as a part of what I do on the Ken Coleman Show. So there's no question that when you compare people who don't have a degree, people have a degree, that's the case. Those studies are relevant, but we're not talking about that's a wide open field, and understand that field of study, and that research shows the high and the low. But we're talking about you and technology. And I'm challenging you to find any evidence that says you need a degree to go where you want to go in technology. Have you found that?
No, I haven't.
Because it doesn't exist. Not in technology. Not in technology. Now listen, if you're going to be a doctor, or a lawyer, or a physicist, and I could keep going, a chemist, and on and on and on and on and on, then yes, you have a 4-year degree and then a higher education degree, but not in technology. Right. Let me tell you where this whole call started out. The first thing I heard that is really the source of your call is that you got in the field and you said, I feel underqualified. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah.
Your feeling has no factual evidence to support it. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with most of that, yeah.
All right, then.
Who has told you otherwise? Has your new boss said, you've got no business being here? Or your new coworker says, I can't believe they let you in here?
No, I think it's probably internal monologue saying that, because there's just a lot that I don't know and don't understand yet.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm also confident that I can learn.
Yeah, there we go. Jerry, you're not underqualified for what you're doing now. You feel like you're underqualified for what you want to do. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's a much better way of putting it. I see why you do this for a living.
Right. Well, but here's the point. So I'm going to go back to what I said. I was right all the way, not some of the way. So,
okay.
Because here's why, Jerry.
Absolutely.
Your boss thinks you're qualified for the gig you got now, so you are. You're not qualified for what you want to do. No big deal. I can go get qualified for what I want to do. Go do that. And stop thinking that you're an imposter.
And so at Ramsey Solutions, we hire different sorts of technology folks, and we've even gone to sending our own people through different training certifications to increase, like Ruby on Rails, or different programming languages and things like that. There's always certificates and things you can level up with. Sometimes your employer will even pay for those if you show an interest in wanting to learn that stuff. Right. Or you can do it online by yourself at night and learn these languages, or you can just tinker around and work and chip away at it and learn them yourself. But that's about you grinding it out. That's not you having some kind of magical pixie dust certificate that you can wave around and say, look, I've got value. Brother, you're in the door. Now you got to work and crank it out and do excellent work and be someone that's fun to hang around with. And then your value is gonna speak for itself.
That's right. You don't need a degree for status, Jerry. Stop chasing status. You're significant, man. You're significant. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got talent, man. You love technology work. You care about the missional result of the work. That makes you significant. Nobody gives a crap about where you went to school.
I love technology. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's a great movie. All right, it's time to put 2021 behind us. Last year left a lot of people feeling burned out and sluggish. Eeyore was their spirit animal. But 2022 is a fresh start, and this is your wake-up call. If you're ready to own this year and actually accomplish your goals with money, your career, and life, we have the plan to get you there. You can make 2022 your best year yet, despite what all the nonsense on the news is telling you. We're running our New Year's sale right now so you can get up to 73% off our best-selling books, assessments, and envelopes. This includes Dave's brand new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, that will show you the quickest, right way to become a millionaire. Or if you're looking for a better way to manage your cash, especially in categories that always blow up your budget, like food, pick up our popular Essential Cash envelope systems. Maybe you're having a hard time bouncing back from the last 2 wild years. You should start 2022 by checking out my quick read, Redefining Anxiety. Or if you're ready to move careers, check out Ken Coleman's From Paycheck to Purpose. The point is, we got books for everybody going through everything. Go to our online store at RamseySolutions.com/store to get serious and make real progress. But hurry, the sale ends soon. Ken, how many people do you talk to on a weekly basis that have it all lined up and they are the ones standing in their own way?
It's about 50% of the calls, because people are calling in many ways just to say, here's what I'm thinking or feeling. Here's what I'm doing, Ken. Do you think I'm off my rocker, or should I do it? They're looking for permission. It's all fear and doubt and pride. It's one of those three enemies: fear, doubt, or pride. Always. Those are the enemies of progress.
We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Triple 825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined by Ken Coleman, and we are taking your calls on life, work, money, anything and everything. Let's go to Jessica in Kansas City, Kansas. Hey, Jessica, what's going on?
Hi, thank you guys so much for taking my call.
Of course, thanks for calling. What's up?
So, my husband and I are kind of on baby step 3. I say kind of because we actually hit 3 months of expenses saved today. So we've got that and have kind of settled that we're okay with that. However, I think
I call bullcrap on that. You're not okay with it.
So I think that we're going to have to re-level our home. Our car's going to break down and we're going to lose our jobs all in one day, which is probably unrealistic, but
Jessica, you are my sister. Uh-huh. You are my sister in spirit. I am with you
for sure.
Ken and I will go to dinner, and it's like, Ken, it's all coming down, right, dude? I'm with you. But hey, I want to go all the way back. You said we're good with it. I could tell in your voice. He's good with it. You're not. Is that accurate?
Right.
Okay.
So it sounds so exciting to be we're on baby step 4. Realistically, we could pretty much invest 15% of our household income unscathed with putting it into retirement. And then that would be really cool to be okay, well, now we're on baby step 5. But I just, do we move on and 3 months is good? And then every, little surprise, we just put a little bit more in our emergency fund, or do we say, hey, let's just stick it out for another half a year and put the extra 3 months in and then move on, or kind of I don't know.
So
I need advice.
You're asking 2 questions. One is a math problem and one is an existential issue. The math problem is simple. How much do y'all make? What's your total income?
So taxes taken out, we make about $80,000.
$80,000. And you owe no money except on your mortgage. How much is your mortgage?
Our mortgage, we just got our home recently, so we owe about $200,000 on it.
Okay. And how old are you two?
I'm 24 and my husband's 25.
And what do y'all do for a living?
I'm in healthcare marketing, and he works for a university as a graduation advisor. And then I also have a part-time job that I love. So kind of 3 things. And
so when I'm looking at the math here, you've got 3 months of emergency funds saved up. You owe nobody any money. Y'all make about $80,000 a year, and both of you are in relatively, you might not as much as him, but he's got a lot of places to grow professionally, right? He's not going to be a graduate advisor forever. Is that right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you are in your career, but you've got places to go. You've got a very reasonable mortgage here. So math-wise, 3 months sounds fine. Are your cars falling apart? Are they all the wheels going to fall off of them all at the same time?
No, mine can stick it out pretty well, and my husband's is fairly reliable, but probably only has a few more years left on it.
All right, so
but when in doubt, we could go down to one car pretty easily.
all right, so I think John's right. Existential is a fancy word. I just think this is a relationship communication problem. I'm just curious, how is he just like, I want to start baby step 4 right now, investing 15%? He's like gung-ho. He's ready to start seeing some ROI. Is that what's going on? How passionate is he on moving to step 4 on a scale of 1 to 10? Mean 1 doesn't care, 10 he's charging the gates of hell with a water pistol. Where is he at?
He's probably like a 2. He could probably stay in baby step 3 for a while.
I knew it.
Okay, well, this isn't that big of a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
He's a
existential.
2.
Well, the problem's not been him ever. Jessica,
It's in her head.
You.
Okay.
You want to go to baby step 4 and you don't feel safe. Why don't you feel safe?
I think it's because I have always felt like I need to do everything. Like I need to save, but invest in retirement and invest elsewhere. And I want to put my hands in like 5 baskets at once instead of focusing on one and moving on.
I have a question, Jessica. Do you really think your fear of all the bad stuff happening is going to go away with 3 more months savings?
I feel like yes, but probably not.
I think the second part's true. Now, Dave came up with these baby steps. If he were on here, I think he would say, we say 3 to 6 months based on your tolerance for concern and worry and fear. There's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
But you've got to engage with what's really going on with you. And it's that you and John are exactly like. I'll never forget going to a great lunch with John and his wife Sheila and my wife Stacy, and it was hilarious. In a 30-minute lunch, I think 4 times she rolled her eyes at you because you basically were Chicken Little, like the worst possible scenario can happen.
My wife, that's right. Yeah.
Speak to this lady. Sheila was like, John. So I think that's what's going on. If you want to do 6 months and it makes you feel better, great. I'm not sure that's going to solve the problem.
So, Jessica, here's how I handle this, okay? Number 1, I'm always looking to solve for safety within reason. So if another 3 months makes you feel better, you're talking about what, $6,000, $7,000?
Well, yeah. So my version, I say my version.
No, 6,000, 6 or 7,000 more dollars.
Well, so we try. Like I attribute like 6,500 for a month, like as if our life were to not change.
All right, so you want to get about 15 or 18, 20,000 more dollars in that account. All right, if that makes you like you will breathe, fine. But as Ken was alluding to, there's another step here, and I'm going to say this publicly. I don't talk about it a lot. I actually carry in my backpack my awesome GoRuck backpack that I can carry around hundreds of pounds in. I have a small little notebook that I carry. And I wish there was another name that wasn't so cheesy, but this is what it is. It's my stories journal, and I write down crap that comes into my head to make sure I can get it out of my head and look at it objectively. Because I will spin up sometimes. I'll get frustrated sometimes. I'll think it's all coming down sometimes. And if I don't address it right away, if I don't take action to control my thoughts, I will end up in a mountain of gummy candies trying to call somebody to go get a drink. And it just spins out on me. And so what I want you to do is to begin to carry something. And a caller in a previous hour, I told him you can go to Walmart and get something for 99 cents, or you can overpay for something on Etsy and get some fancy artist. I don't care what it is. But carry something around with you. You can use your notes app on your phone. But I want you to begin to write down these, it's all coming down, catastrophes. This is the end of time. I want you to begin to write that down, and I literally want you to hold it at arm's length, and I want you to do one thing: demand evidence. Is this true? And what you're going to find is the more you solve for safety, if you don't deal with those stories, your anxiety will move on you, and it will move again, and it will move again, and suddenly, oh, he's answering the phone. It's probably some other woman, and Oh, my kid's coughing. Oh, no, it must be, right? You're just going to keep moving the bar until you deal with those stories. And when you look at them objectively, you get them outside and you say, is this true? And you go, no. Then you can begin to write something new. I am safe. I have 6 months emergency fund, brain. Thank you for trying to take care of me, but I'm good. Mm-hmm. Does that sound more peaceful?
It does. Yes. Thank you.
And listen, Jessica, practically speaking, I think I can speak for everybody that's walking the baby steps out. When you get that emergency fund fully funded, it still sucks when you have to use it.
Oh, it's
you
the
don't
worst.
want to use it. But guess what you do?
That's what it's for.
You replenish it.
Yeah.
The emergency fund is there for you to not have an actual emergency because financially you're able to take care of it. Guess what? You refund it, and life just keeps on going. But can we acknowledge it's the worst to work that hard for a fund like that and then have to dip into it. But that's why it's there.
It's the worst, yes. And you won't feel like there's no parade, there's no things that fall from the sky when you go to baby step 4.
That's right.
So if you need to feel safe and fully fund your emergency fund, great. But you stop at month 6 and start investing. Got it? And then address those stories that are haunting you. You are worth a good night's sleep. We'll be right back. Triple-8 825-5225. Let's go to Abe in Sacramento. Hey, Abe, what is going on, my brother?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, man. How can we help?
So I'm thinking about buying a new truck, and I'm just trying to make sure it's a good decision. I don't owe any money to anybody. Paid off my house about 3-4 years ago. I have the money to pay cash, but it's $45,000. And last time I purchased a new car, I said I'm never buying a new car again. So I'm just trying to see if it makes sense and trying to make sense of all this.
What kind of truck is it?
It's a Toyota Tacoma.
That's a great truck, man. What's your annual salary?
So household is about 120.
Okay. So you got no debt, you got no house payment. Normally, I don't want you spending more than half your take-home pay on vehicles, anything with wheels on it, okay? So this falls underneath that. A new truck is just expensive right now. What I would tell you is, man, the difference between a 20 and a 22, what are we talking financially? Is it $5,000, $10,000? Or are they given the bonkersness of the market now?
Exactly. There's not going to be so I'm actually getting a good deal on a new truck. A 2-3-year-old truck I can probably buy for around the same money from a dealership. So it's just it's not a lot of difference.
Any other time,
always wanted to.
Yeah, any other time I tell you, because Dave's rule of thumb is don't buy a car unless you have $1 million. Buying new cars, I just always think that's just a dumb idea unless you're just swimming in cash. In this current weird moment, based on your economic situation, I don't have any problem with it. What's your hesitation?
It's just a lot of money. I work hard for that money. It's just hard to just write a check and drive away in that truck.
So I want to lean in on this, John.
Yeah.
Let's the three of us do this together, Abe. I love that John asked you that. You called us, and you basically are like, John, Ken, should I buy this truck? You got no debt. You got the cash. Opinions can vary on this issue. That's not what's going on. I think in your heart of hearts, you wanted us to tell you not to do it. Is that true or false? I don't mind if I'm wrong.
I kind of wanted the other way around. I kind of knew all the rules, the 50%. So I kind of wanted to hear from you guys to say, you know what, go splurge a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, John did. He gave you that. But I got to tell you something. I still think you feel bad about it, and I think you got to come to grips with that because you're going,
yep.
Man, $45,000, that's a lot of money. I could do something with it. So then you have to sit there and ask yourself, what matters most? I think the permissions are there. I think John already answered it. You got what you wanted. I just think this is significant enough for you to sit there and go, all right, what if I bought a 5-year-old Toyota, and let's say I spent $35 and I got $10,000. What would I do with the $10,000? I think you just should play it out. There's no right or wrong
I'm
here.
with you.
But I actually want you to wrestle with this a little bit more, because I think that's what's really going on. And I think you got to feel good about this yourself, not get permission from two dudes you don't know.
Why do you want a new truck?
Well, I forgot to tell you guys this. I already have a truck. I have a 2011, so, I was planning to sell that.
Hey, leave it with that.
Yeah, that would have been nice to know. How much is that? How much are you going to get for that?
Probably about 20.
Bro,
hang up the phone and go buy a truck.
Go buy the truck, because you're getting 20 from the one car and you're only putting 25 in. And then come up with something cool with the 20.
Give it away. Do something cool.
Dude.
How old are you, Abe?
38.
When's the last time you did again, I am as cheap as they come. When's the last time you did something nice for yourself?
That's why they call me Squeaky Abe.
Abe, go buy a truck, dude.
Yeah, done.
Go buy a truck. Sleep well.
I thought he was coming out of pocket 45. He's only going to come out 25 after he sells that truck.
I know. All right, let's go to Garrison in Gulfport, Mississippi. What's up, Garrison?
Oh.
What's up?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, first off, I appreciate everything y'all do. I'm talking to my two favorite people in the world right now.
Oh, wow. That's
excellent.
Nice.
You got to get better people in your life.
That's
but what's
the truth.
Well, I just now hit baby step 2 about a week ago, and my New Year's resolution was to, be more financially stable and to get myself out of debt and provide well for my family. And I'm not seeing eye to eye with my fiance. I just found out on Christmas Eve that we are expecting our third baby. And every time I bring up the budget and wanted to do it with her, she just keeps blowing it off. And I want us to pay off our debt, but she's just not seeing eye to eye with it. And I've been listening to your podcast. I'm listening to the John Deloney Show, the Ramsey Show, and the Ken Coleman Show for the last 6 months. I'm a truck driver. And I love everything y'all do, so I was just trying to reach out and see if y'all could help me out.
So, first thing, congratulations on number 3. How old are your other two?
My son is 5, and my daughter just turned 1 this month.
When are you getting married?
See, she's not ready yet. She told me recently she does not want to get married till she gets, excuse my language, a food job.
Okay, you've got. You're about to have your third kid. She's not ready yet. That doesn't compute for me, but that's a different call. You can call one of our shows and we'll talk about that. So when it comes to getting people on board, usually somebody's coming at somebody with either a bunch of you need to do this, you need to do that right away, or they're coming at them with a math problem. If we just do this, we can save this much and then put this much away. And neither math problems nor people barking orders at you are ever compelling for long-term behavior change. What is sitting down and saying, this is my heart in this matter. I feel unsafe having 3 kids and owing this kind of money. I feel like I am not providing for this family because we are spending tomorrow's money on last month's food.
Let me jump in, Garrison. There's a relationship issue that John's alluding to that's a whole nother onion in this phone call, but we have to address this for a second. There is no we right now. You guys aren't married. I'm assuming you don't have separate accounts, or do you guys joint accounts, or you're paying each other's debts? What's going on? What does it look like?
So I'm a truck driver. I'm out on the road, so I put her on my account, but then she still has her own account with her job that she does.
Okay, what my point is you have debts and she has debts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you need to be addressing your debts, and she does not need to be in your bank account if you guys aren't married. And I'm not questioning her. I'm not trying to take us down that road of why she's not ready, but I'm just telling you to protect yourself. John, I thought you used the right word here. I mean, you are you're the father of these children, but you guys aren't married, and you need to take care of your debt.
We're talking about
legally.
Right. And hey, Garrison, I don't want to be the first guy to tell you this, but here we go. A breast enhancement surgery is not a reason to not get married. There's something else here. Am I right?
Yeah, I think there is. You know, I don't know if it's hard for her, me being out on the road this whole time and being so far away. I'm not sure.
It's enough that she keeps having children with you, but not enough that she has said, I want to get married. Your relationship, y'all are... This is one of those, I'm going to flip the lights on, turn the music off, and say, hey, we got to stop the party.
Yeah.
Something's not right here.
Yeah.
You got to take care of you.
I've heard you say that before.
Yep, and you're there now, okay?
Garrison, take care of you, dude.
Yes, and those 3 little babies, take care of your relationship. But there's some dishonesty there. There's some mess here going on, and you need to get to the bottom of it. But when it comes to taking care of your money, you know what? All this, Ken, you're right. This is all a relationship issue. Y'all are not on the same page at all in any way, and you're making humans together.
Yeah.
You got to get on the same page today. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Rules and restrictions apply.
Today's question comes from Ashley in Minnesota. After 8 years in college, my husband is graduating soon with a degree in chemical engineering. We currently live with my dad, and his parents support my husband when he needs money. He has a great internship that will most likely turn into a full-time job. He doesn't hate the job, but now he's saying engineering isn't fulfilling, and he wants to go into law enforcement. I don't want him to do this for many reasons, but mostly I don't want him to do this because we literally can't afford to live off of what a police officer would earn. I don't want to have to choose between paying our mortgage and a car payment. He acts like I'm the bad guy because I encouraged him to go into chemical engineering. He doesn't seem to understand paying bills isn't optional. I'm tired of always being the adult in this situation. Should my husband start a career that won't allow us to pay our bills when he has a great job lined up? And this is Exhibit A, John.
Whoa.
Of a relationship question disguised as a career question. That's not a career question. You know it and I know it, and it's like, sweetheart, there's so much passive aggression and irritation dripping off of this, John. I can't answer that. You know that's not a career question.
No,
That's a relationship
James, can we just break this down? Can we spend a little bit on this?
There's a lot in this. All right, yeah, go. This is good.
After 8 years in college,
my
husband's graduating with a degree in chemical engineering.
You could already feel the disdain over the 8 years.
Yes. So my husband's dumb and lazy, okay?
Right.
We currently live with my dad.
Yeah.
And his parents support my husband when he needs money.
More resentment.
So we're living with my parents, my dad, but his parents are paying our bills.
Uh-huh.
He has a great internship that will most likely turn into a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hate it, but now he says he's not fulfilled. And he wants to go to law enforcement. Ashley, this is an email of somebody who's about to file for divorce.
Yep.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
And so should my husband start a career that won't allow us to pay our bills when he has a great job lined up is not the question. The question is, are we going to be married this time next year?
Yeah.
That's where you start. Because this email sounds a lot like you resent him. And not a lot of relationships come back from resentment.
No.
That's usually when things are in ash.
Yeah. This is marriage counseling, heart to heart. Hey,
ASAP.
here's what I want from you, and you've not provided it. She doesn't feel safe with this guy.
Right, and he doesn't feel. He blames her.
He blames her
for losing a decade of
Yeah.
his life studying something he didn't want to in the first place.
Yeah, these two are just they're on opposite sides. It's like the old school Revolutionary War movies where they fought this way.
Yeah,
the British and the Americans line up together and they look at each other and they shoot each other point blank. This is what this relationship is. It feels like it's back and forth, back and forth. They're not even on the same side, and all they're doing is firing at each other close range.
That's right. And for what it's worth, I grew up in the home of a police officer, and we did not have a lot, but we never missed a meal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
important.
I'm glad you pointed that out because
it was hard.
She's got a false narrative
She's
here.
got a false narrative. That's right.
You can make a nice living. I mean, certainly now.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's
no
hard.
question.
We don't pay police officers enough.
That's true.
But I grew up in this house, and it was hard, but we made it. And so this, it's all good. That's not it. You're mad at your husband. You're frustrated with him. You're done with him, actually. And you all need to get to a marriage counselor ASAP. All right, let's go to Dan in Boise, Idaho. What's up, brother Dan?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How are
Thanks
you?
for taking my call.
You got it. What's up?
Good. Hey, so I'm in a job where I get calls a lot of different customers, a lot of clients, a lot of just random people, and I have a very difficult time prioritizing who I should get to first because in my line of work, everything's an emergency. So when I get a long list of things that I feel like I need to do, it just kind of shuts me down.
Okay.
It just makes it difficult for me to focus on one thing and do that one thing, then move to the next thing, even though I know that's what I should do. And then I end up doing nothing. and then catching up, the next day or at night or something like that.
What is your position, Dave?
I do commercial HVAC sales.
So you are a salesperson of HVAC systems, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right, and you have a pretty good idea. I'm not going to make you say it on the air, but you have a pretty good idea what your job description is, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you at some point, not right now as you're presenting, but were you at some point pretty clear on what is expected of you as a salesperson of HVAC systems? It's not a trick question.
Really.
You were okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When you were hired to be a salesperson of HVAC systems, what is your number one priority, Dan?
Well, it'd be to sell system to sell systems, but I look at it as providing good customer service to my clients. I don't necessarily look at it as my goal. It's just to sell X amount of systems.
I agree, but I'm trying to help you process all this confusion. You feel confused because you're getting so many different requests, and you're like, I'm having a hard time prioritizing. And I'm trying to help you see what matters most. So what is, if I was talking to your boss right now, what would your boss say your priority is?
Probably just the sales part.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Of course. So give me an example of the type of calls that are coming in that are paralyzing you that aren't related to selling.
So I get a lot of calls from clients with little needs, and then I feel like I have to take care of needs that are not related to sales.
Give me an example.
Maybe service.
Give me an example.
So I have a customer who calls in, says they have a thermostat problem, and they have it's a minor problem that a service tech could probably take care of. Well, I know that all our service techs are really busy right now, so I feel like I need to stop everything, help this person real quick, and then I can move on. And
except that's not what happens.
No.
Right. But Dan, what happens if you, out of the goodness of your heart, are always handling those requests, and then it starts to cut into your sales, Dan? What's going to happen?
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
I didn't. Dan, wait a second.
Yeah.
You don't get to answer a different question. You have to answer the question that I asked. What happens, Dan, if your sales start to drop?
I make less, and I'm giving them my fear and my doubt that I'm always going to fail sometime in the future. So
and you might. And it's possible you could lose your job too.
That's not going to happen.
Confident Dan.
Oh, I like this. We went from doubting Dan to they're not going to get rid of me. Okay, look, I'll pass the baton to my partner, but let me just say this, Dan. You're going to have to start to get over this people pleasing, which is
you got a Messiah complex, brother.
You got some massive stuff going on here, and the reality is you got to do what you know you're supposed to do. So I'll leave it to John on the counseling side, but you know what you're supposed to do, start doing it.
Here's my question: do you like helping people more than you like selling, Dan? Do you like taking care of knickknacks and taking care of the people that you're serving more than cold calling somebody?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Okay. You don't like your job.
Yeah. So go do something where you can do customer service all day.
Or stop trying to be the Messiah and save everybody and pass these on to the technicians because that's their job. And if they don't do their job in a timely fashion, in a respectable, dignified fashion, then you go to the owner or the CEO or your operating chain of command and you say, I'm trying to love and honor my clients and my customers, and these guys on my team will not get the work done. But you trying to circumvent the system and be everything to everybody is giving you a free pass on the hard part of your job, which is actually selling units. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
So listen,
that's fair.
Dan, you have to decide. Do you want to be a customer service rep? Do you want to be a technician, or do you want to be a salesperson? It's time to be an adult. You got this. Decide.
And then stop doing other people's jobs.
Yeah.
Go do yours. Just do yours.
Go watch Frozen. There's a great little theme song in that called Let It Go.
Don't hold it back anymore. Hey, Ken, good show. James Childs, Kelly Daniels. As always, y'all are beautiful and handsome and brilliant. Another hour in the books. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your money, your life, your relationships, your work, your mental health, anything and everything. Give us a shout, 888-825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined by good friend and best-selling author Ken Coleman. We are taking your calls on work and life and money. We're here for you, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Matt in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you, brother?
Oh, doing good so far. I think so. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thanks for calling.
I've been searching through your guys' episodes, previous and past, and I can't find an answer to a question that I have. I'm almost done with baby step 2. In March, I'll be 100% debt-free, except for the fact that I rent still. At what point in time do I look at buying a house? Like, what step is that?
It's a great question. So let's back up a little bit. How much money do you make?
So I currently make $67,000 a year.
67. What do you do, man?
Recruiter for the National Guard.
Oh, very cool. Are you in the National Guard yourself? Active? Very cool, man. Thanks for your service, brother. Yeah, y'all have had a last couple of years, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah,
totally made it crazy.
It sure has. Well, thanks for your service. So you're finishing up baby step 2. You're going to be completely debt-free in a few months. And tell me about a house. You want to buy a house? You like where you live? Or are you just thinking, I should be doing this thing?
No, I just know that, like, with my budget that I have, because I use the EveryDollar app, I could be saving a lot of money by paying towards a mortgage instead of rent. I pay $700 a month in rent when that could be going to something that's not going to someone else's pocket. But I don't know what step that is that I need to do that.
Gotcha.
How long is it going to take you to get the baby step 3 to 6 months expenses fully funded? You have any idea?
With my current budget, it'll take around 60 days after I get done with baby step 2.
Nice.
Excellent. So here's what I want you to think about. A couple of things. Number one, I want to acknowledge, and I feel it. Paying rent feels like when you're paying rent that's $700 and you can go down the street and find a $1,100 mortgage, it feels like you're wasting, almost half or more than half your payment, right? As a homeowner who just this past month had to replace an air conditioning system, and I had to do some other work on the house, and I've got to replace the hot water here. What I'm telling you, what feels like it on the surface actually isn't in the short term. So I want you to be completely debt-free. I want you to have a fully funded emergency fund, and then I want you to have saved up 10 to 20% just to get into the house. And they're going to, for you especially, they're going to have all kinds of veterans programs. They're going to get you in for no money down and all that. It's not a good deal because you end up getting into a house and you're immediately upside down in it until you can pay off enough to get some equity in it that you would even be able to get out and pay the realtor fees to move. So you're looking at a couple of years from now, unless you start getting unless you get a side hustle or two and start just hammering it to save some money, but you're completely debt free. You got an emergency fund. Like buying a new air conditioner, it was not fun, but it wasn't catastrophic.
Yeah.
It was super annoying because I got an emergency fund. We paid for it. It's annoying. I'm going to have to save the money back up in the emergency fund, but I'm going on with my life.
So, Matt, the answer is we call it baby step 3B. Over time, we've developed in baby step 3, 3B, which means after you get the fully funded emergency fund, then you move into saving for the house. That's what John is telling you. I'm just curious, how much house are you looking to buy?
So around here, I can get a house for 120. I mean, I'm a single guy. Don't have any kids. I can get a house, 2-bedroom for $110,000.
All right. So we want you to get at least the 20%, right? We want you to do a 15-year mortgage. So that's your target there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what baby step 3B is going to look like for you there.
And then if you hit the gas on this thing, you're going to look up and it's going to be 2 years from now. You'll have really hustled. You're going to get some cash and you're going to save it up. And you might decide, hey, I'm going to move. I want to live in another community. I've got a significant other now that does not want a 2-bedroom house. But so your things change a little bit. Matt, how old are you, brother?
Hey, what? I'm sorry?
How old are you?
31.
31. Okay. So you've been at this for a while, so you're getting there, and I get that. Ken, you and Stacy, y'all rented when you first moved to Nashville, right?
We rented for 2 years with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And we knew we were going to be here, but we realized that with 3 kids moving back into Middle Tennessee, we wanted to go, all right, let's take our time and figure out the best place because this is our long-term play.
Right.
And frankly, we didn't have the down payment that we wanted because we took care of some other things, and it was the best thing we could do because it took the pressure off. And I think it's a shift for Matt and other people to go, wait a second, I'm not throwing money out the door and wasting it. I'm not burning it every month. I would switch the mindset to what is it buying me? What is renting buying me? To your point, he could be pretty quickly in 60 days or so. He's going to be, debt-free and then working on the emergency fund, maybe fully funded. And he could go right into baby step 4 and invest if he wanted to. And if he's serious about getting married, then wait to decide, on that double income or what does she want, to your point. But if he feels he's going to be single a while and he really wants to be a homeowner, then we gave him that approach too. But I just think the mindset has to be, what does renting do for me?
Oh, so what if we thought about rent not as just throwing money out the window? I've heard that before. But what if we looked at rent as I'm buying freedom every month? I'm freedom from bills, from catastrophe.
You know what it brought for Stacy and I? Peace of mind.
That's exactly
to figure out what's the right school system, best neighborhood, location to
Who's the roofer?
Solutions.
I don't care. That's the landowner's job, right?
Yeah, I got to tell you, it was very peaceful.
Yeah, we did the same thing, and there is definitely some peace in making sure I'm buying the right house. I can afford to get in it, and I don't want to blow by that either. The house down payment is so important because if you put no money down on a house or just 3% down, to get out of the house you pay 6% in realtor fees.
That's right.
So you instantly lose money walking right out the door, right?
Yeah.
So at least give yourself the opportunity to get out of your house if you have to. If you lose your job or there's some kind of, you have to move, whatever this is going on, save up that 10 to 20% and go into a house, as Rachel says, it's a blessing, not a curse.
Yeah, you know what's awesome? Stacey and I, we were debt-free, okay, when we moved here.
Yep.
But we had our house in Atlanta. We paid that off. It was nice to be truly no home payment, no house payment. Rent was rent.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we're not going to be here forever, but it's a great place for us to land right now. It was so peaceful, so strategic, so smart, and then it allowed us the time to make a big, gigantic decision like buying a house.
Right. And maybe that's my problem. I tend to look at it like you.
Yeah.
I don't look at it like I'm wasting my life or because I've got other plans and other ideas that can come down the road. But it's more about what can I do right? What's the best decision right now?
Yeah.
And renting just has this leaves a bad taste in people's mouth that I just don't have. I don't have it
either.
You're about 2 years away, Brother Matt, and then you can buy your 2-bedroom house or save up a little bit more and buy yourself a more long-term place to stay. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
This is The Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225. I'm John Deloney, joined here by my good friend Ken Coleman. We're taking your calls on money, on life, on relationships, on everything. 888-825-5225. How would you feel if you knew you could retire with dignity, leave an inheritance for your family? It would be freeing, right? The truth is, you can have that kind of life. You can build wealth, even become a millionaire. But it starts with having the right habits. It starts by deciding here and now that you're ready for real life change. This year, take control of your money and start building lasting wealth with the Best Year Ever bundle. In this bundle, you will get access to Financial Peace University and the premium version of Every Dollar. 2 resources to help you take back control of your biggest wealth building tool, your income. Then you'll use the copy of Dave's brand new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, to learn the right way to invest and get to $1 million net worth. Look, what you do right now is impacting the kind of life you'll have later. The good news is you get to decide what that life looks like. If you want to forever change your family tree and forever change your life, get the Best Year Ever bundle by visiting RamseySolutions.com/best. That's RamseySolutions.com/best. Let's go to Jason in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, Jason, right down the street. What's up, man?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it. What's up?
Hey, so my question for you, so my wife and I are going to be in baby step 7 here in the next 12 to 18 months.
Congratulations.
And, Yes, thank you. We really appreciate all the work that y'all do. It's fantastic and life-changing stuff. So we want to practice that insane generosity. So my question is, how do we become insanely generous with family and friends without hurting the relationship?
Ooh, good question. Give me an example of what you're thinking about.
Well, we have family who, are not doing as well as us that we want to be able to help, but we also don't want to enable that behavior, and we also, we don't want them to struggle either, because we love them, they're close to us, so it's like, how do we be that example without being an enabler?
So you want to be an example, and you don't want to enable. What does that have to do with giving money away?
It really doesn't. And that's really, like I said, I know there's been situations where, I've heard callers say, hey, I started giving money to somebody and then that person started treating me differently, or, it became different at holidays. The dynamic of the relationship changed, which, I'm sure it's inevitable. I'm just curious, are there any tips that we could approach that in a way that maintains that respect without being overbearing or being, insulting in that situation?
Have you ever met somebody who discovered a keto diet for the first time?
A few, yes.
You ever met somebody who is a diehard vegan?
Yeah.
I was going to say to the death, but actually to the opposite, like vegan to the plant, right? Whenever somebody starts changing the way they eat and it feels good, their body feels good, and whether that's physiological or they convince themselves of that, what do they always want to do?
Tell people about it.
Yes. And I honor that. If you've stumbled on something, if my friend Ken Coleman stumbles on something that makes his life better, I hope he will love me enough to tell me about it.
Oh, I interrupt him. I do this all the time.
And if he comes at me with a bag of lettuce and celery and tries to shove it down my throat, or if he melts butter in his coffee and pours it all over me, I'm going to get pissed, right?
Wow, very descriptive.
You see, so the difference here is you can model for your family life change. You can walk alongside them. You cannot make them live differently by forcing stuff on them. When it comes to money and family, I believe if you find somebody and they are in dire straits, they are struggling, and Ken hop in here, they're struggling, they're dying, I think it's okay to take somebody out to breakfast and say, are you doing okay? How can I love you better? If you come at them and say, hey, I know you're broke, here's $5,000, that's going to change the relationship. If you sit down and say, hey, I love you, how can I help? Because they may need help. They may need some budgeting tips, and they may need $1,000 because they're about to get their lights and water cut off. Down the road, being intentional about, I'm going to help folks, I'm going to have relationships with folks that they feel comfortable and safe asking me for support and care. I'm not going to run around and try to shove my things down people's throat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Jason, I think you're thinking of a family member, a very specific one or two. Is that true?
That's correct.
All right. And so I want to guard your privacy here. Let's be more specific. So you're thinking of a specific family member, and what were you thinking of doing for them? You called us. You already had an idea in your mind, and we've kind of been talking around this thing generally. I want to get really detailed on this. So what were you thinking of doing for them?
Some home repairs. They have some situations where, if it's the house isn't fixed, it's going to cause a lot more problems with a much bigger financial liability.
All right. So what would
be able to help those with the?
All right. So what would be the out-of-pocket to take care of those problems that would stay some major issues? It would really help avoid some major issues. How much money would it cost you to help with those repairs?
Probably $5,000 to $8,000.
Okay. And what were you worried about happening? Play this out in your mind. You give them the $5,000 to $8,000 for the repairs, and you're worried that it was going to enable them to keep doing stuff? Or do you feel like they're going to be beholden to you? Let's name this.
I think it's more that it's not going to encourage them to improve themselves, and I think that's what worries me.
Yeah, they got some destructive behaviors, and all you're going to do is save them a bunch of money, but it's really not going to change things.
Correct.
Yeah, the reason I'm digging into that, John, very specifically is because I wanted to know what's really going on here. Right. And I think if you got some family members that are doing some things that are destructive, and and that $5,000 to $8,000 while saving them a lot of money isn't going to do a whole lot. I think that's why you called. You're questioning, is this like spitting into the wind? Is that what you're really wrestling with?
Yes, and I mean, I don't want to hurt the relationship. I want to still be, I want to love this person. I want to be an example for them, and I don't want to create any barriers by being that financial, support system.
So, all right, so let's dive into that. You know who you're talking about. What do you think the chances are if you were to walk in and go, hey, I noticed all this stuff's going on with the house. If it doesn't get fixed, it's probably going to turn into this, and I've got some cash because the way I've been living, and I'd like to pay for the repairs. What are you worried about happening specifically?
That I only hear from them when something else breaks.
Then I think, and given this, John, I'm willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
I think this is a check that you need to honor. I think sometimes fear is lying to us, and sometimes fear is protecting us. Right. And I think this is a fear going, don't touch the burner because if you do, it burns your hand. I think you're worried about getting burned, and I think that it's protecting you. I think I'd listen to it.
Yeah, I think
love them a different way.
No, I think you're right. The one stipulation here. So here's where I personally get involved in a situation like this. If we're dealing with adults, I'm going to love my friends, my family, my community members who are making different life choices than me. I'm going to love them, but I'm not going to participate, right? If they come to me for support and care and help, then that's a different story. But I'm not just going to jump in to try to play savior. The times I will get involved is when there are little children involved. Are there kids involved in an unsafe home here, Jason?
No, that's not the case.
Okay.
Good.
So I think I agree with Ken, man. I think this – at best, this starts with a lunch and, hey, how's everything going? Not a text exchange, but, hey, I'd love to take you all to lunch, just check in, see how things are going, and start there. And if they won't have a conversation with you, if they can't be honest about things that are going on, I heard recently somebody of means say, if a family member asks for money, I don't loan it, I give it to them, and then I say, this is it. This is the time. Like, this is your shot. Right? And so however you handle that is fine. I want to flip the conversation around, though. If somebody is really struggling and they come to you for help and you help them, you have not inherently screwed up that relationship.
Yeah.
If you go chasing to solve everybody's problems around you with your big fancy money, yeah, you're causing the problem. But if somebody comes to you for help and says, hey, I'm in a hole and I need some support here, man, the relationship may be altered, but that one's not on you.
If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month.
Triple 825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show. Let's go out to Doug in Denver, Colorado. Hey, Doug, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. What's up? How can we help?
Hey, so my main question is for Ken. I'm trying to ask him what professional advice he has for a 28-year-old male who doesn't exactly know what he wants to do right now.
Yeah, well, we just have to dive in and see if that statement is 100% factually correct. I just got to believe, Doug, you called today because you have some ideas and you want some validation of the ideas. Do you have any ideas? You ever wondered about what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail, or something you know you've always wanted to do but you're not quite sure how to get there? What's really going on?
Well, right now I'm going to school for computer science with a specialization in IT. I like that idea because I can work from home by myself if I chose to. It does get kind of boring, though, and I guess if I had to choose a dream job right now, it would be teaching jiu-jitsu because I'm really good at it and doing it right now.
Okay, so wait a second. How much is a full-time successful, so whether you own your own studio, which is an option, that's an entrepreneurial play for sure, or you're working for an established studio, how much can a full-time jiu-jitsu instructor make? It's okay if you don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So are you part-time right now? Is that what you're doing, or do you just compete for yourself? What's the deal?
No, I do it 4 or 5 days a week.
For somebody who owns their own studio?
No.
Who do you do it for?
I train under my instructor. He's a brown belt.
Right, but I mean, is he paying you? Who's paying you to do this?
No, he's saying it's a hobby.
Okay, I misunderstood. All right, I'm trying to figure out, this is what you would like to do. That would be the dream job. So you got to talk to your instructor and go, hey, what's the path look like? How much money does he make? Go talk to some people who run some jiu-jitsu studios. Okay, hey, this is what we make. This is what our rent is. I mean, get a real snapshot of what it looks like. You can't kind of have a dream. You got to have a dream. And I feel like it's kind of this fun idea for you because you love it so much. But if you actually look into it and see that there's a path forward and it's possible, if I told you could make good money and provide in the jiu-jitsu lane, right? Would you choose that over technology right now?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So I want you to actually figure out, what does a career look like? What are the multiple options? I can work for somebody else as a high-level trainer, or I can work for myself. You got to go do your homework. And here's the good news. You are already in that world. You have all the relationships you need to get those answers, true or false.
True.
All right, now here's the other option. If you like a form of technology work, then figure out, okay, what kind of technology work would I enjoy? And it wouldn't be boring, and I could work from home, but it would also allow me the stability of a really great salary with some promotional opportunities while I build the jiu-jitsu career. So I want you to consider both, and depending on the answers you get on what it's going to take to get qualified and get connected and get started and move up in the jiu-jitsu world. So this is the simple path forward. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the call. When we don't know what the future could be, we stay stuck, John. It's like, well, I kind of would like, dream job could be jiu-jitsu. Well, we got to go from could be. That's curiosity. We got to really dive in. And then when we find out everything there is to know about what a career looks like in the jiu-jitsu world, multiple lanes, I'm sure, then it goes from could be to should be. Then it goes from should be to must be.
Yeah.
As we explore and see what is it going to take. Because he might go, all right, well, I could make X amount of money, but if I want to have a wife and kids, that's not going to pay for things. So that's why technology career as a stable day job could be the path first. And then we develop the jiu-jitsu, and he keeps training, he gets his certification, he kind of gets in, and then over time he builds that side hustle up, and one day he steps off the dock from technology into that. He owns his own studio, and he's cash, and he's not in debt for a studio. That's the path that I'm trying to help him see. But you can only see that when you dive in and ask the questions. What does it take to do this full time?
So what do you tell somebody? I found myself in a similar situation. I was working at a university, got a good job, it was stable, and then I would go spend 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours in the jiu-jitsu studio myself.
Yeah.
And there was a group of guys, and we worked hard, a group of men and women. We worked hard, we trained hard, we got after each other, and there's kickboxing studio. So we were fighting a lot, and I loved it. And then I started thinking, okay, what would it be like this would be kind of cool. And then I realized a couple of things. 1, I'm not that good. 2, it's kind of old. 3, this is more of a hobby than it is a job. And really what I was taking away is I thought, I really love jiu-jitsu. I really love MMA. What I really loved, I did love the competition, make no mistake. I love the camaraderie.
Yes.
I love the community. Those guys and gals became my gang.
Yep.
Right? We hung out. We went to concerts. So how do you help somebody tease apart whether I need to go for this thing full time or it's okay to have a hobby, to love shredding your guitar, being a chef, but you got a day job?
Well, a version of what I told him, which is he's got to go sit down, and it's just the exploration.
Yeah.
So I call that process that I just walked Doug through, clarify and verify.
Okay.
So when I told him, talk to your instructor, I told him, you know, everybody you need to know in there to find out what are the paths. What are full-time paid paths in jiu-jitsu?
And if you run a gym,
so one of them obviously is a professional.
You're not doing jiu-jitsu all day.
No,
you're doing
not.
paperwork.
You're
and
a small business owner.
That's right.
You know, who has to also either train or hire trainers.
Right.
So that's what I was telling him to do. You got to go figure out, what does it look like? What does a day in the life look like? How much can you make? How long does it take to make that? What are the risks associated with starting the jiu-jitsu business? That's called clarify.
Okay.
And then, John, as we clarify what is involved, how do you get there, risks, rewards, all that, your heart, this is where you and I really come together on a lot of stuff. Your heart verifies.
Right.
Clarify and verify. So the heart will go, oh yeah,
I love this.
I want to train students, which would be retired folks, elementary school kid who's been bullied. You have a heart for what jiu-jitsu does for the person, and you want to instruct that.
Yeah.
That's a deep passion. Now, here's the deal. You still have to go, do I want to do that all day, every day?
Right.
And therein lies the verify. Profession or hobby?
Gotcha. Okay.
Profession or participation?
Gotcha.
There's a big difference, and I'm glad you pointed it out. So clarify, verify. I think, John, that when the brain does its part, the logical gathering of information, then the heart steps in and does its part and says, yeah, I want to do this all the time. Thought I did.
I thought I did until I realized, oh, this is 70% ordering and marketing and
I don't want to do that.
Cleaning mats. I just really love jiu-jitsu and I really love being around the gym.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
It's a great distinction.
Do that in the evening.
That's how you do it. Let the heart and head work together.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay, folks, brace yourself. Tax season is about here. I know it's probably not your favorite announcement, but look, any day now you're going to start getting your W-2s or 1099s from your employer, and this is not the year to procrastinate on your taxes. There are a couple of reasons I say that. First, a lot happened in 2021 that could affect your taxes. Second, the IRS is struggling. Shocker alert. They're dealing with a worker shortage plus a massive backlog of unprocessed paper returns. And they're adapting to pandemic-related tax changes just like you. So even though it's hard to feel sorry for the IRS, they've got a lot on their plate and we're expecting it'll take them longer to process returns. If you're comfortable filing online, we have an excellent budget-friendly recommendation. It's called Ramsey Smart Tax, and most people save $60 to $120 when they switch from the leading competitor. This is how I do my taxes, at my kitchen table. On the other hand, if your taxes seem too complicated or the idea of filing taxes by yourself freaks you out, you don't have to do them alone. We have tax professionals across the country who we trust to serve you well and do your taxes right. We can put you in touch with them today. Head over to RamseySolutions.com/tax to learn more. Go to RamseySolutions.com/tax. We'll be right back. Today's scripture is Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. T.S. Eliot says, only those who will risk too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Outstanding. Let's go to Jessica in Milwaukee. Hey, Jessica, what's going on?
Hi. I have a 6-year-old son with ADHD, and I am wondering if it is age appropriate to tell him that he might be kicked out of his school this year.
Whew. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's separate those two things real quick. Those are two separate challenges here. So what's going on at school?
Well, he's also actually extremely high functioning autism.
Okay.
But that doesn't seem to be causing a concern at school, but that allowed him to get his own personal aid for school. Now in this upcoming year, the insurance won't be covering that aid. So the school said that if he is disruptive to the point that he needs to be removed to the classroom frequently, that he would not be allowed to return just because they don't have the extra staff to monitor him out in the hallway if he needs to be removed, if he gets wound up.
Is he at a private school or a public school?
It is private.
Okay.
We went through the public. We went through an IEP for a little bit there, but they deemed that he did not need an aid at all. And so we didn't feel comfortable with that either at that time because we knew that he needed that extra help. We didn't want him to fall behind.
Okay. So
we got kind of stuck.
I know that's a nightmare. When you went through the IEP process, did they provide a psychologist evaluation, or did you have to go get him evaluated somewhere and then turn that report in?
They did a psychologist, and that was what that psychologist deemed. We didn't like it, so then we got a professional, and they're the ones that deemed that he needed an aid.
Okay. So what I would do is circle back with that new report. It may be worth even going to an ABA specialist and getting yet another one, an updated review and an updated evaluation, and sitting down right now with your public school. Because here's the thing. Telling a 6-year-old that here's what's about to happen to you will not compute, especially a non-neurotypical 6-year-old. And ADHD is one thing. ADHD plus autism is a whole other situation. So telling him, hey, if you do this, then this is going to happen, and then here's going to be the downstream consequences that may happen months from now is tough for a neurotypical six-year-old, much less one who's got challenges. Okay. I want him to work on immediate behaviors. Does he have care is he in the care of a counselor? He's got a behavior specialist that he's working with?
Yes. Yes, he
okay.
has an ABA specialist and occupational therapist as well.
Has he acted out before?
It's honestly getting better.
Great.
In my opinion, but it's still just that fact that the school might be the one to determine. And since he seems so on so often, I don't want, if he can control it, it would be wonderful if he understood the consequences, because he did. But if he's not age appropriate to understand it, that's, another story. But he did go to a preschool where he was kicked out of. And I just don't want him to go through that pain again, because we didn't tell him why. And we didn't even tell him he was kicked out. He just asked, why can't I go back to that school? And we just, so we just kind of told him, we're going to try this school this time. And
so,
and he didn't like that. He was really sad. So Jessica, if I can avoid it, it would be great.
I'm going to speak as broadly as I can, because I'm going to want to protect folks in my own life.
Yes.
But I do not want my kids at a school that does not want them. And for millions and millions and millions of people who are stuck in a local public school, that statement sounds trite and ugly, and I get that. But I tried a particular private school, and they said, we don't want your kid here. And I then transitioned to a public school, and it has been life-changing. With the support, the care, and the love. Some of it was just developmental. Some of it was we were in the middle of a move. Some of it was all kinds of stuff. But I'm not going to pay the extra money to have somebody tell me that we are unable to help your kid with the needs they have. We're unable to support your child with the learning challenges that they have. Get out.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go.
100%. I want to say yes and amen to that. That's absolutely right, John.
You hear what I'm just? So, Jessica, this alters, as a parent, it alters your picture of what you thought was going to be, what your kid's trajectory was going to look like. And you got to grieve that because it stinks. And I want my kid with people who are going to walk alongside them and love them and honor them, whatever challenges they're working through, whatever exceptionalities they're working through.
Yep.
So I want you to take another eval, and I know those are expensive, and I know they're a pain in the butt, and you got to get on an 8-month wait list. I'd love for you to take that eval to a public school now before you're backed into a corner and you got 2 weeks to make a decision here and there, and it just gets overwhelming. I'd love for you to sit down and say, what are our options in the upcoming school year? And then you've got months to prepare. If you're going to transition schools, you got months to prepare your youngster for it, and bring them all along as part of that process. It's going to be hard, and nobody likes changing schools, especially young kids, but I'd much rather him in a school that wants him there than somebody who's already preemptively kicking him out.
Right.
And I know that stinks. I know that's hard. I know that's hard. When it comes to telling a 6-year-old, hey, if you do this, there's going to be consequences, of course you do that. Of course, I got a 6-year-old right now. I tell her, if this behavior happens, you are opting into this consequence. I do that on a regular basis. Every day I do that. But when it comes to somebody who is struggling with neurological challenges that are just going to be non-neurotypical, man, you got to be careful about those downstream effects, because what it feels like is disconnection. And one of the demons of, you know this better than anybody, I'm telling the general population, of ADHD and of autism and that nexus where they cross, is a body that is screaming for somebody to see me, somebody connect with me. And I don't have the social skills or the tools or the chaos control to reach out and connect. And that that type of rejection just pours gasoline on that fire. And I know you know that, and my heart's breaking for you, because I know what it's like to love a kid and to say, I've just walked with too many parents. I love this kid, and I'm struggling with where they fit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, John. I mean, the private school, let's just call it what it is. They've just straight up fired a warning shot.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to bash them. I'm not saying they're not good people. But you know our story. I'm going to protect my family as well. We have been in schools before where it was very obvious that they didn't want to help, couldn't help, and you just have to kind of deal with it, and you have to do what's best for your kid. So I think the warning shot's there. You got to prepare. I think you gave her some practical advice, and do what's best for him.
Jessica, how does that sit with you?
It sounds good. I think it's just that it's not that the school doesn't want to.
They can't.
Love
Sure.
him to death.
Sure.
You know, so I do want to make that fine line. It's not like they're like, oh, well, he's too much. It's more so that they're actually concerned, like, I don't think we have the resources. And they were like crying when they told me that. So I was like, okay, so that's the only thing. But because they love him to death and they are bending over backwards for him. But yes, if they don't have the resources, then
yeah.
You know, I think that that's a really smart idea, though, because I don't want to be rushed like last time. We were blindsided last time, you know, but now we have at least months to prepare. I think that's a really good route. And also, I guess my other question is, I mean, I know that you guys, you know, this is Ramsey religious based. The reason why we did private school mainly for him was sometimes he doesn't necessarily know the difference between reality, you know, like in fantasy and what is actually true. And
so, yeah, you're going to have to find a school resource there. And if he's struggling with reality and fantasy, then yeah, he's going to have to have some support aids. 100%, no question about that. Thank you so much for your call. As we wrap up today's show, I want to thank James Childs and Kelly Daniels for running another great show, my good friend Ken Coleman, and you, America. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.